Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to be going over the different L's that you may come across. These are the L series of plugins from Waves. There's three distinct series, the L1, L2, and L3. Each one has like a different kind of flavor, and the L means limiter. These are limiters. They're essentially very fast compressors, and you put them at the end of your mix, the end of your stereo bus, and you basically bring down the threshold and it makes things louder. It's pretty basic. So we're going to start out with the L1. This is just essentially a limiter. It doesn't have any, this came out in the 90s, by the way. It doesn't really have much of an intelligent release. And that's one of the differences between a few iterations is the release is not intelligent. You'll see why. The release kind of dictates the pumpiness of it, sorry. And this is kind of what you would use track to track. It's not necessarily for mastering. The L1 Plus, however, is more geared towards your master bus because it has dither, I guess. And not much else to say about this, but this is the one that you would use at the end of your mastering chain, the end of your stereo bus. They are essentially the same. Nothing to do different about them. Just one has a dither and an input gain. But that is the L1, and that started it all. We have the L2. The L2 it's still a limiter, but it's called an ultra maximizer because what makes it an ultra maximizer? It has an intelligent release, ARC, intelligent release control. It basically adjusts the release time based on the length of the transient, and it's basically a way, I can't even explain it. It's a way to like boost loudness and still have it sound transparent by matching the release with the program dependent transient time that it detects. Kind of fascinating, and I use this still to this day. It's very versatile. A lot of EDM uses this. It's pretty neat. Still has the quantization, the dithering section, and is usually used at the last stage of your mastering bus. So then we get the L3. Now these are in kind of an order. The L3 came around, and the L3 now has profiles. Profiles for its release time and attack time and all things in between. To see when you really push something, when you really limit something, you get like a character, like a warmth or a harshness. So they added these kind of interesting profiles. They have analog, wideband, arc, manual, cozy and warm, loud and proud, etc., etc. And there's that. This is, used on a track-to-track basis. Make sure that you turn off quantize. You turn off dither. Sorry, turn your dither off so you're not, accumulating noise on your tracks. And then the L3 came about, and it split it up into 4 bands. And it has a master release, which is intelligent, and there's different profiles: arc, aggressive, warm, scaled, and manual, which you can, dig into. And it's the same, the L1 all the way to the L3. It's all the same. Just bring the threshold down until you get some loudness. But with the L1 and L2, the L2, it's a broadband. So like it takes in account the whole signal, low end to high end, and it limits everything kind of as one. But when you get into multiband limiting with its crossovers, these crossovers are like a natural phase, a linear phase, so they kind of sound better. You kind of prioritize different frequencies more than others. So you can say, hey, what's up, L3? Do not limit or do anything to the low end. Please keep the low end because I want to keep that, but feel free to limit everything else. And you can do that with these multi maximizers. And yeah, kind of an ugly UI, but I'm fond of it. And you can also adjust the crossovers. So, you know, you have your sub bass, mid low, mid high, and high end. And yeah, now, so the L3LL. So what is this? What makes this different? Well, this is the low latency version. So it's used kind of for tracking live. It has the same kind of profiles and not so much of a smart release, but it sounds, you know, pretty good. This is basically low latency. So when you don't want any latency or it's going to drive you crazy, use the LL series. There's also the L3LL multi stereo. What's it called? Yeah, multi stereo. Same thing as the L3 up here. Basically the same, just a nicer UI, but no latency or very minimal latency. So this is for, you know, tracking. If you're like mixing something live band in the headphones, you don't want any delay. The session musicians will get irritated. Use the LL version. Basically the same, but there you'll get some like linear phase distortion on the low end. It's not too great, but you know, all that. And then we have the granddaddy of them all. Or said that. The L316. So you got 16 bands. It's the same kind of concept as the multi-maximizer, but I guess you get more bands. You get double. And you get a bunch more kind of release character. And different kind of separation. This way you can kind of prioritize and dig in more. This is more of a final kind of limiter. It's never really done it for me because, you know, I use, yeah, we got limitless and stuff like that. But the L316 is pretty good. Not much else to say. I don't really use it. I use the tried and tested L2 Ultra Maximizer. The font you can barely read. And yeah, the intelligent release control, always good. Anyway, hope you learned stuff. Hope I explained things good. Yeah. Take care and have a good one.